to know for February 20th, coming to you from Meadow Mill. I'm Amanda, and this is Alan. You can join us here every Tuesday at 12:30 for your weekly news roundup and a discussion of current events. Please feel free to comment and ask us questions in the field below. Alan, we're going to jump right in with yet more really bad news for the city and its perception problem.
Yeah. Well, USA Today has named Baltimore the most dangerous city in the United States.
Fantastic.
The paper analyzed police crime data in the nation's 50 biggest cities, which revealed that Baltimore had the highest per capita murder rate in the nation, with nearly 56 murders per 100,000 people, a record for the city.
Yep.
The rate outpaced New Orleans and Detroit with a rate of 40 and 39 killings per 100,000 people, respectively. At 342 murders, Baltimore has had more homicides last year than Philadelphia, Los Angeles, and New York City. Baltimore had approximately 615,000 residents. Philadelphia, with 1.5 million, had 317 killings. New York, with 8.5 million, had 290 murders. And L.A., with 4 million residents, had 286 homicides, according to USA Today.
This is insane. We're beating all of them at like half or a quarter of the population. We
Correct.
have nobody left. I mean, if we keep going at this rate with these numbers, we'll have like the 10 people. 10 people will still live in Baltimore.
Also, you got to wonder who would want to come to visit here. It affects tourism. It affects conventions.
It affects like every aspect of our life. We can't get funding. We can't get grants if we don't have a population, and if we're dangerous. And like we were talking earlier, we have friends in other cities. I would like if my friends wanted to come visit. They don't want to.
Yeah, I was emailing back and forth with a friend last night, and he made a little joke about Rite Aids. I didn't know what he was talking about, and then I realized he was talking about that Rite Aid that was affected by the Freddie Gray riots. Or was it Walgreen?
Oh, he was making a joke about that?
He was making jokes about that, but that's the perception out there, that Baltimore is this very dangerous town. And, of course, USA Today is
helping
sealing
that along.
Sealing the deal there.
But, I mean, perception is reality. It's not – look at the numbers. It's not just some, like, the media going, oh, let's make fun of Baltimore again today.
Right.
Like, the numbers are there. We have no population, and we're beating everyone per capita in killings. This is hard. Like, I want to move to the city, but nobody is giving me any reason to do so. It's an issue. It's bleak and problematic. But, it also, the rest of the country isn't exactly,
Correct. Right now we got a situation where parents have, including myself, we have to be afraid to send our kids to a school. Glenn, I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, it's scary out there to think what happened in Parkland, Florida, can happen out there. And hopefully, what we saw yesterday was these young people are coming out and they're saying, we've had enough. And we want to be able to go to school and be secure. And you legislators got to do something here. So hopefully this will be a wake-up call for the nation.
I mean, all the other times this happened, it should have been a wake-up call. And thank God for the young people. Clearly, we need them.
They have to make it happen. Us older folk aren't going to do it.
Right. We need a revolution. The president's not doing it. The Congress isn't doing it.
Right.
We can't pray anymore. The prayers aren't doing anything.
Thoughts and prayers.
We can't. Like, there are just no more words. There's no words. Like, this is happening, and it has to stop happening. Right. Period. All right, so there's this interesting study about D.C.'s Jewish population. Tell us about that.
Okay. According to a wide-ranging survey of Washington, D.C. area Jews published by the Jewish Federation of Greater Washington, much of the Metro D.C. Jewish community observes key Jewish cultural rituals more than the national average.
Interesting.
But fewer than an average D.C. area Jews belong to a synagogue, and only a fraction say Judaism is a part of their daily life.
Wow.
Here are 5 key takeaways from the study. The D.C. area has nearly 300,000 Jews, which is a lot.
That's a lot. That's half of who lives in Baltimore, P.S.
Baltimore has about 120,000 Jews if you include Howard County.
Okay, which this study also could be including all those outside areas.
But with the D.C. area, I guess you're talking about not only the district, but you're talking about Northern Virginia and suburban Maryland. So it's a huge swath.
That's a lot.
D.C. Jews are more democratic than their American Jewish counterparts, which is mind-blowing.
How can you be more Democrat than a normal Jew? I didn't know that was a thing, but okay.
They're especially religious, but they don't belong to synagogues, which probably means that they're spiritual or consider themselves spiritual. Most of them have been to Israel.
Interesting,
which you can't say that about a lot of American Jews.
No.
And young people are intermarrying, but they're also staying involved in the Jewish community. So that kind of differentiates them from the rest of the Jewish community around the country. Certainly Baltimore, which tends to be more dyed-in-the-wool and synagogue-oriented. And people stay here for generations, whereas Washington is a much more transient place, obviously.
And it's interesting because it's sort of breaking down the traditional walls, and maybe this is how Judaism continues to grow and thrive, is if you make it into its own new thing.
Well, I think that's what the demographers are saying, that this might be a portal to the future of looking at how American Jewry is going to be in
how we do,
20 years.
How we are.
Right.
It's very interesting. So if you're just joining us, this is JMOR's Need to Know on Facebook Live. Share, like, and follow at hashtag JMOR Need to Know. Tell us if you go to synagogue, and how religious you think you are, and what do you think the future of Judaism is. All right, here's a hard one for you. This is going to be a tough question. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, can you guess? This is hard.
Okay.
Who has been ranked the worst president ever?
Millard Fillmore?
Yeah, but no. What? I don't know.
Jeffrey Amder, if you're
about...
listening out there. Jeffrey Amder is the one-man Millard Fillmore Advocacy Society. He teaches at Beth Fella. Wonderful guy. And we've all done stories about him at different times where that's his passion in life, Millard Fillmore. So God bless him. But Millard Fillmore is not in dead last. I don't know where he was on the list.
But wait, what's this guy's name? Jeffrey Amder. If you're watching, you need to explain this to us right now.
Why are you in love with Millard Fillmore?
Yeah, please explain. I know nothing about that person. All right, but so tell us about this survey.
Okay. Well, on a scale of 0 to 100 for overall greatness, President Trump scored just over 12, coming in dead last among U.S. commanders-in-chief in the 2018 Presidents and Executive Politics Presidential Greatness Survey. Crocky, you don't seem that as surprised about this. That's my guess.
I just feel like if I was a president for the first time and like I was ranked among all the people who had come before me and I was rock bottom, I would maybe make some adjustments.
I guess you'd say it's a rocky start, right? Yeah. So the survey ranks presidents from best to worst, and it's based on responses from 170 members of a section of the American Political Science Association. Donald J. Trump's average rating is 12.34, which is nearly 3 points lower than James Buchanan, the guy who started the Civil War. Well, he didn't start the Civil War, but
he
basically
there,
was
right?
a prelude to the Civil War.
So that's a hint, too. Maybe don't start a Civil War. It's not a real popular thing.
Who previously occupied the lowest rank, according to the survey. The top 7 spots were unchanged from 2014. Glenn, you want to guess who came in first place? I'll give you a hint. I have a visual here.
George Bush.
George Bush. Which George Bush, though?
No, wrong.
Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln came in first. Nobody's surprised.
Yay, like
Daniel Day-Lewis with
exactly.
an average rating of 95.03, followed by the father of our country, George Washington, with an average of 92.59, and then followed by FDR himself, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, with an average of 89.09. I strongly suspect that his cousin, his fifth cousin,
Teddy.
Theodore, was also high up there. By the way, if you ever watch that Ken Burns documentary about the Roosevelts, it's fabulous.
I should watch that. I have so many documentaries I have to watch. You've got a whole viewing list for me.
Yes,
it's like a playlist. Okay.
And interestingly enough, Barack Obama ranked 8th, up 10 slots from 2014, with an average rating of 71.13. And as I told you earlier, I watched Obama on that. What's the Jerry Seinfeld?
Driving in cars, drinking coffee.
Comedians. Yes, thank you. And I have to say, he was hysterical. Not everybody on that show is that funny, but he was great.
I need to watch it. I would like to drive around in a car with him and drink coffee.
He's very smooth.
Amazing. All right.
He's got natural timing, I got to say.
So,
even if you don't like his politics, you got to admit he's got good
quick.
timing.
He's bright. Yeah,
Right.
he knows how to react to things.
Right.
Because, like I told you, you have to watch that Letterman interview too.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
It's incredible. All right. Now let's do some Israel news.
Okay. Speaking of unpopular politicians, yes.
Speaking of hitting rock bottom and everything else.
Maybe not unpopular, but he's having some problems. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will meet with President Trump next month when he is in Washington to address the American-Israel Public Affairs Committee Conference, AIPAC. The president has a tremendous relationship with Prime Minister Netanyahu, looks forward to meeting with him, said a White House official, which is true.
It is
not
true.
Fake news, that is true.
They are friends.
AIPAC also announced that the embattled Netanyahu would speak at its annual March 4 through 6 policy conference in Washington. Additionally, Vice President Mike Pence has been confirmed as the keynote speaker at AIPAC. Also speaking is Nikki Haley, the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, who is the darling of the American Israel right-wing faction.
Yeah.
People love her in general, but I think people particularly love her, especially after the recognition of Jerusalem and everything.
Yes. All right. Well, good for Nikki Haley. What else is going on?
Israel said it had successfully tested the Arrow 3 advanced missile defense system against long-range missiles. The Arrow 3 interceptor was launched and completed its mission, Israel's Ministry of Defense said. The test, which simulated a fully operational scenario, was conducted early Monday at a test site in central Israel and was led by the Israel Aerospace Industries in collaboration with the Israeli Air Force, according to the statement. The flight test was supported by the U.S. Missile Defense Agency, the system co-developers. Arrow 3 interceptors were delivered to the Israeli Air Force in January of 2017 for operational use. 2 previous tests of the system were canceled due to technical glitches. Interception tests above large land masses in unpopulated areas in Alaska are scheduled for later this year, according to Ynet. And it sure comes at a good time because you have all that saber rattling going on with Iran. Iran said today that if there's any problems, they'll wipe Tel Aviv off the face of the earth. So it's scary times we're living in.
Yeah. So good thing we got that defense system.
We could use a
tested.
Superman now.
Oh, wow. Moving on to such
What a segue.
Well, you ruined my
Sorry.
question.
Sorry.
I was going to ask which superhero's origins are deeply rooted in Judaism.
Well, there's Wonder Woman.
Which we now take all the credit for, although
True.
she's from the Amazon, so she can't be that Jewish.
Correct. Underdog.
Is Underdog Jewish?
I have no idea.
But
Wasn't that Wally Cox? Wally Cox
you
wasn't
think
Jewish,
he's
though, was
just
he?
a
Nobody even remembers Wally Cox anymore.
I don't know who that is.
Glenn doesn't even know who that is.
We
He
have no
voiced,
idea what you're talking
Underdog.
about.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Older listeners
Go
will know.
ahead. You already spoiled it.
Well, DC Comics' newest writer says that the choices he has made for his new Superman series are, quote, deeply connected to the character's origins. Brian Michael Bendis will start drawing new comic books with the iconic superhero in May. Bendis is the product of a strictly Orthodox Jewish day school in Cleveland. From his given name Kal-El to his exodus from his home planet, Superman represents the Jewish sensibilities of his creators, immigrants Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, who were also Clevelanders.
Who knew?
I've only been to Cleveland once. It was for like 24-hour period.
I went once for a conference, yeah.
Yeah. And then it was
And I didn't love it.
blizzard.
And I probably didn't feel particularly safe there either, but that's okay because this is the most dangerous
So
place.
I'd like to go back. I liked the...
Oh, I didn't like it.
And I didn't make it to the Rock and
I
Roll
didn't
Hall
either.
of Fame.
It was closed.
Have you been to Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Yeah, you've been there. I had a feeling you had been there.
All right.
Anyway, El is a Hebrew term used to designate God, like Bethel, Israel.
Israel. Is Bethel like house of God?
House of God,
House
that's
of
what
God.
it is,
Oh,
yeah.
I just made up some Hebrew and I was right. All right.
And just as Moses was nestled in a little basket for his trip down the Nile,
Nile.
Superman's parents placed him in a rocket ship so he could escape his dying planet of Krypton. Mm-hmm. Instead of Pharaoh's daughter lifting a crying baby out of a basket, Superman's adoptive parents opened the rocket to discover a crying baby. Mm-hmm. The character's transformation from mild-mannered, glasses-wearing Clark Kent to avenging strongman has also been seen as a sort of Jewish immigrant's wish fulfillment.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. Bendis is best known from his time at Marvel as the man who killed off Spider-Man's alter ego, Peter Parker, in order to replace him with a new, half-black, half-Hispanic character who gets bitten by a genetically altered spider. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. I don't know Bendis. I also don't know if I'm a Marvel or a DC universe
Yeah,
person.
I don't know. How about you, Glenn?
Are you DC
Marvel
or Marvel?
DC?
Marvel by far.
Yo, by
Really?
far? Oh.
My son, too. He prefers Marvel.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's Stan Lee, right?
But I definitely like Superman way more than Spider-Man. No, I'm wrong. I'm totally wrong. What about Batman?
Spider-Man has more...
Batman's pretty great.
Spider-Man and Batman have more nuance and depth.
They have like a
They're
psyche.
the dark side.
Yeah.
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 Superman
I agree.
is just like perfect.
That's true. He's like too with his little curl, his special little curl.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
Bendis said he was trying to make the comics look good, look more like the real world. That's
Right.
why he chose that for the Spider-Man alter ego. Bendis told Forbes that his new Superman is a reflection of where he came from and where the world is today.
Right on.
There you go.
I actually want to read these. It's exciting. So do you eat Lucky Charms?
I do not. My son does, but I'm sure I've had them before, but not lately.
I don't eat Lucky Charms, but like the internet is a buzz. Has your son heard the news?
I don't think so.
Do you
He hasn't
know?
mentioned it.
Do you have any idea what shape they've added?
I heard somewhere through the grapevine. I'll let
Rainbow unicorn marshmallows.
Wow.
I know. New excitement in your breakfast
Sounds pretty
cereal.
good.
It sounds like a bite of unicorn goodness, I guess. Yeah, they're having a moment, unicorns.
Now, if
so.
they can only do it with Oreo cookies, and then Glenn would.
Glenn
bring
would
them in.
taste them. Glenn, we need a
What is
unicorn.
with you and Oreo cookies, Glenn?
rainbow.
Just want to try them.
I like trying.
You're just crazy about Oreos?
Stuff.
No, I just want to try every flavor.
I agree. I'm with him on that.
But you're not crazy about them.
Most of them don't taste good. Most of them are like really artificial tasting.
With Oreos?
Yeah, the flavored ones. All right,
It tastes pretty good to me. When Oreos went kosher, Glenn,
I bet the
you're
world
too
stopped.
young. But
I bet the world
the Orthodox world, the kosher keeping world, went nuts.
I bet
But they
I
had
bet it
never
did.
had an Oreo before. They had these fake Oreos, these knockoffs, which were horrible. And
The
then
Hydrox, right?
Yes.
They were kosher.
Yes.
I remember at
But
camp
when
we had to have those.
When Oreos went kosher, it was humongous. It really was.
I remember the same thing happened with M&Ms because I was
Really?
with my cousins at the time and they just bought them by the bag and they're like shoving them in their face. I'm like, you guys, that's just an M&M. They were so excited.
Can you imagine never having an M&M before? I mean,
Or an Oreo.
what a monumental
un-American.
occasion.
It's
like
not
a
even
blind man who could all of a sudden see.
All right, do a J word of the day.
Okay, well, the J word of the day is a Yiddish one. It's the word Gottges.
Gatkes.
It's a funny word. It means, loosely, it means underwear, although it means a little bit more than that. Usage of it would be, so that's how you answer the door in your Gottges?
In your Gottges?
So Gottges, like a lady probably wouldn't be wearing Gottges.
Should've
It's
had
more
me
like
Gottges.
an older gentleman who would be wearing like boxer shorts. I remember on my first trip to Israel, my friend Michael Fetter, who lives in New Jersey, some guy came out in the hallway in boxer shorts and he says, "What's with Gottges, man?" So that's how you say Gottges.
I like it.
There
All
you
right.
go.
That is it for us today. Remember to join us here Tuesdays at 12:30 for your Need to Know News Roundup. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and follow at hashtag JMoreNeedToKnow. And go to jmoreliving.com for more news updates. Always leave the house in your clean Gottges.
Clean Gottges.